Hi, my friends, and welcome to Sweet Dreams Wellness Travel. I am Barbara Tuckett, the owner of Sweet Dreams Travel. I am a wellness travel specialist, and I believe that your mind, your body, and your spirit all play into your well being. I create travel experiences which improve wellness so that you return from your vacation with more health, more happiness, and more connection. This is being broadcast as a YouTube video and also a podcast. This is episode number 10, and the title is Adventure is Out There. Where is your next one? Today's wellness focus is adventure, as you can tell. So let's jump in and get started today. I am happy to have you here. Get my screen sharing, and then we will get started. And never fear, if you are listening to the podcast, no worries, because I will talk through everything that I am also showing on screen. So a few years ago, I was getting ready for an incredible snorkeling adventure. I had my flippers and I had my mask, my snorkel mask, and I had my swimsuit on, and I was ready to go. My husband and I were in Maui, and we were going to spend some time snorkeling. But wait, then I started to get a little anxiety because I thought about how easily I can get seasick, and I have gotten seasick before snorkeling. I also remembered that I am not a good swimmer. The extent of my swim lessons when I was younger was when I was about 10 years old, 10 or 11, and I had maybe a 3-week kind of crash course in swim lessons. So that's the extent of my formal swimming instruction. Then I also thought about, which raised my anxiety, the fact that my husband, Sean, is an Eagle Scout. He has the swimming merit badge, undoubtedly has done lots and lots and lots of swimming throughout his teenage years and also throughout his life. Plus, he has never been seasick, ever, in all the times that he has been in the ocean and in varying degrees of bad weather in the ocean and bad waves. So this also contributed to my own anxiety because I knew that he wasn't sharing my anxiety, that he was super excited to get to go on this snorkel trip in Maui. This was for our anniversary a few years ago, and we had really been looking forward to this trip. And not just the trip, but the opportunity to snorkel quite a bit. So what did I do? It was either a situation where I was going to be unhappy because I was holding him back, and or I was going and just basically making do with trying to make the best of my situation, but feeling very full of anxiousness and not really wanting to be there. Or the other part was going to be that he was going to be unhappy if he didn't go snorkeling when we had planned on it, just because I was afraid. So enter the solution. The solution was I was able to take some Dramamine, which is fabulous if you are one who gets seasick or is worried about getting seasick while snorkeling. Dramamine is a great solution. The other solution to my lack of swimming prowess is a flotation belt. Did you know that there is such a thing for snorkeling? There totally is. It's just this belt that you wrap around your midsection, and it keeps you at exactly the right height in the water to just be able to put your face barely under the water, the exact right placement to be able to see all kinds of fish and coral and amazing sights under the water. So with using the solution of Dramamine and a flotation belt, we were both able to go snorkeling, and we had an amazing time, and both of us really, really enjoyed it. So that was an adventure that we had, and I kind of liken that to your perfect adventure, which in this case, my husband Sean's perfect adventure might be someone else's anxiety. Um, I just wanted to make the point that there is an adventure for you. And today I'm going to talk about lots of different kinds of adventures, maybe not the type of adventure that you would think of when you think of the word adventure. So the ones I'm going to touch on in a little more detail are history and ancient sites, unique kinds of adventures, family history adventures, art and culture, culinary, film and TV locations, haunted adventures, and nature and hidden gems. So I'm going to touch a little bit on all of those and just give you a few ideas for each of them. So moving on, let's start with history and ancient sites. So if you are more comfortable staying in America, so with each of these types of adventures, I'm going to give you some options for both staying in the States and also venturing outside the US. So a few different just ideas. So if you wanted to stay in America and explore some history and ancient sites, a couple of really good options might be Mesa Verde. If you have never been there, it's fabulous. It's in Colorado, kind of southern Colorado, and it's really great. Some amazing, amazing, all kinds of dwellings where the ancient Americans lived. Another one might be the New England lighthouses, if you wanted to explore some American history. Now, outside the US, my perfect solution, if you have never been especially, but even if you have been, you might want to go back to England, Ireland, or Scotland and explore some castles. I could put together some amazing castle trips for you, and where you would be just delighted with some of the sights that you would get to see. Okay, next, unique adventures. Some unique adventures that I can think of would be getting to see some very unique wildlife in Australia. Australia has some of the most unique wildlife on the planet. You could go hiking in places like Iceland, Norway, or England. You could go bird watching and find some wild birds in the southwestern US. So if that would be closer to home, obviously. Also, in our own United States, you could go salmon fishing in Alaska in the rivers, not on the ocean. Ocean is what everybody thinks of, but river fishing is pretty amazing. Or you could go adventuring to some wildflowers in the Rocky Mountains. So there are so many great, unique ideas for some different types of adventures you could go on. Now, the next section is family history adventures. And this one is pretty individual because everybody is from different places, obviously. But you want the idea in mind with this is to go to the places where your family roots originated. Where did your family come from? And that can be something as close to home as places in early American history. So somewhere on the East Coast or somewhere where your early progenitors settled, and you can go explore some of those areas. Or many of us have roots in Ireland or Italy or England or other places, Scandinavia, other places over in Europe, or wherever your roots came from. This family history type of adventure is a really, really fun one to do with multi-generations, with the grandparents and the parents and the kids. It can just be really, really fun to do that with your, a little bit larger group of your family members as you explore and find out where your roots came from. The next type of adventure I'm calling art and culture. So if you just wanted to do a little bit of exploring into art and culture, I've got a few ideas. Everybody knows about the wonderful museums in France, the wonderful museums in Italy. So those are a given. Those are kind of taken for granted sometimes, although those are fascinating and amazing. But have you ever thought about going to and researching the history of kilts in Scotland? Or what about going to Norway and finding out about Norwegian folklore? Or if you wanted to stay closer to home, think about this. Would you like to discover the history behind jazz, blues, country, Cajun, or Appalachian music, which is the music of America? I have some great adventure ideas for all of those places and all of those um, types of arts and cultures that you could explore if you're interested in that type of adventure. Our next type is culinary adventures. You know, this is one of my favorites. I talk about culinary adventures a lot because they're so fun. Culinary delights are some of the very, very best reasons to travel, to discover the foods in some locations. Um, what about trying some authentic Norwegian or Irish or Italian, Icelandic, or French food from these amazing foodie destinations? Or closer to home in the US, maybe explore the great culinary variety that there is in Napa Valley, California. And that's not even far. So you could go to any of these places and really get a great taste of some culinary adventure. Okay, this next one is a favorite. What about film and TV locations? Have you ever wanted to go explore some of these amazing places? For example, if you went to Italy, I might suggest the movies Life is Beautiful or Letters to Juliet. Those are a couple of my favorites that take place and get to be filmed in Italy locations. And I could send you on a trip to go discover some of those places. Or in Scotland, some really amazing choices would be Harry Potter, Game of Thrones, the BFG. BFG stands for Big Friendly Giant, or Outlander. So all of those have film locations in Scotland. Or in England, of course, more Harry Potter, the amazing Downton Abbey series, or Game of Thrones. So all of these would be really, really fun. And there's plenty more. These are just some ideas for really fun film and TV locations if you're interested in that. And I could help you set up all kinds of trips to go exploring those places. Ooh, this is a great one for this time of year. I'm recording this in fall. And so what about haunted adventures? If you would be interested in haunted adventures, some really great ideas outside of the US would be haunted castles, towers, vaults, cemeteries, or cities. And of course, we can find lots and lots of those types of things in Ireland or England or Scotland. Even if you wanted to do something kind of haunted and ghostly that was closer to home, you might want to look at some haunted hotels or haunted mansions. And there are plenty of those a lot of them are in the Western US. For example, in Arizona, Colorado, Oregon, New Mexico. So they all have some really fun haunted mansions and hotels. Our next one is nature and hidden gems. So on your next trip, if you are looking for photogenic, relaxing, breathtaking, stunning, or scenic types of words to describe your next vacation, here are some great ideas for you. How about the lakes of northern Italy, the hot springs in Iceland, some glorious New Zealand beaches, waterfalls in Wales, some vacation isles in Scotland, authentic English seaside towns. Here in the US, how about Oregon's coast or Rocky Mountain wildflowers? There are so many great choices for scenic and nature and relaxing types of vacations. Now, that pretty much covers it for the adventure types of vacations that I was going to cover in this episode, but you probably have a lot of questions. So I'm going to answer in the next few minutes these questions. When can I travel and where can I go? Should I book now or wait? Will I need to wear a mask? Will I need to quarantine? Is it safe to fly? What safety measures are being taken by hotels and tours? And, of course, do I need a COVID-19 test? So I'm going to try and answer these questions as best I can for travel in general and for the preceding destinations and locations and types of travel that I just talked about. Okay, so the first one, when can I travel and where can I go? So for some places you can travel now. Many places in the US you can already travel right now. Other places are opening really soon. And some haven't announced their open dates yet. So it really just depends on the place. There are places where you can go right now. If you wanted to leave in a week, just let me know and we can find you a really great place to go. My recommendation is just to ask me. So if you want a specific destination, like for example, if you're looking for Hawaii or if you're looking for a specific destination, contact me and say, this is where I want to go. How soon am I able to go? Or what are the restrictions? Or I can also do it the other way, where if you just want to go somewhere and you don't really mind where, but you just really want to get away, also contact me and ask me that. And I can tell you some suggestions for where you could go right now if you wanted to, or in the future. All right, the next question is, should I book now or wait? So the common thought is that prices will most likely go up as the demand goes up. So as people really get back into the full booking travel mode, I believe that prices will go up because all of these travel entities will have to recoup some of this money that they have lost in all of these months of not having travelers. So my recommendation is book as soon as you're comfortable with it. I don't know when that is for you. If you're not comfortable right now, then wait as long as you want to until you feel comfortable. But word to the wise, if you wait until everybody's doing it, most likely the prices will be higher than they are currently when not a lot of people are doing it. So that's just my thought. And I'm not saying that because I want everybody to go out and book right now. I'm saying it just because it just stands to reason that prices will go up as people really get comfortable with booking trips. All right. My biggest piece of advice when you are booking something is to find out the cancellation or change policy before you book. There is always going to be trip insurance that is available. The trip insurance it varies widely. Just because you get trip insurance doesn't mean that you can cancel for any reason and get 100% of your money back all the time. In some cases it does. In other cases you get a trip credit. In other cases you can only get a partial refund or a partial credit, even if you are allowed to cancel. So please find out the cancellation or change policy before you book. Unless you're going next week, in which case once you get it all booked, you'll probably just take off. So I love that with just a small deposit, unless you're traveling in the really near future, your price will be locked in and then your trip will be reserved. Prices are available into 2021 very easily into 2021. All of next year pretty much is available, except for right now, except for maybe the late holiday season into Thanksgiving and Christmas for 21. But in some cases, prices are available into 21 and 22, clear into 22. So I've got lots of prices that are available right now. And it's really simple to get something locked in if you're ready. Please don't do it if you're not ready, because I don't want you to feel uncomfortable with your choice. All right, next question. Will I need to wear a mask? And the answer is probably. Most likely, most places do require some type of mask wearing when you are in close quarters or close proximity with other people. Will I need to quarantine? So this is a really moving target. Ask me when you book what the policies are for the destination where you are going, because they are constantly changing. So in some places, they recommend that you quarantine once you get back. In some places, they recommend right now that you quarantine before once you get there. So you really don't want to go to a place where you have to quarantine as soon as you get there. So just ask, and I'm happy to let you know what all of the requirements are for the destination. Again, I strongly recommend trip insurance. So next question, is it safe to fly? Well, right now, masks are totally required on all flights. Um, in fact, passengers are being kicked off of flights if they are not wearing masks. Air filters on planes trap 99.9% of the particles. This is way, way better than just your standard any place you go, a grocery store you walk into, or even your neighbor's house, or other places where we just randomly walk into, or places where we frequent, um, to have the air particles so well filtered. Also, the air in the airplane cabin is refreshed every 2 to 3 minutes with brand new fresh air. So a lot of people don't know that. They think that the cabin in the plane is all recirculated air, and that is not true. It is sucked out and filtered, but then new fresh air is put into the cabin every 2 to 3 minutes. So in my opinion, if you're careful and you feel pretty safe about flying, it is safe to fly. Next question. What safety measures are being taken by hotels and tours? Well, there are lots and lots of best practices that are being followed. Social distancing, disinfecting all of the surfaces, limiting physical interactions. I have said it before, but I'll just repeat it right now. If you are going on vacation, I would recommend bringing some Clorox wipes with you, and just as you walk into the room, just wiping down the light switches and wiping down the TV remotes and wiping everything down just to make sure that it's sanitized to the best of your ability, even though the hotel staff is doing amazing jobs of sanitizing and keeping things very safe. So I wouldn't worry about it, but just for an extra measure of security, you might want to bring your own. Do I need a COVID-19 test? And the answer is possibly. More and more destinations are requiring a COVID-19 test before you travel. So just ask me when you're thinking about booking, and I can let you know if you know what the regulations are with the pre-travel testing and all of that stuff. In order to get a test, I would recommend going to your primary care doctor first, and ask them if they can give you the test. If he or she can't, then just ask them for a referral, because they usually will have a site that they can recommend that does give the test. The most common testing is done when the tech just inserts a cotton swab into your nose and gets a sample that way. So it's not super invasive, but it's effective. So in conclusion, there are so many places, there are so many ways that you can adventure. And it's so fun to think about all of the different things you can do to go on your own adventure that is suited just for you. You decide the type of adventure, you decide the length, you decide the destination, and we can make it happen. You even decide, when you are ready to go. So it's totally up to you. And I love that. I also would invite you to subscribe to I'll talk about my YouTube channel and my podcast. I would invite you to connect with me. I would love to connect with you. So this is how you can. On Facebook and Instagram, go to Sweet Dreams Travel. Remember, it's SUITE, Dreams Travel. On Twitter, it's Sweet Dreams Trav. My podcast is called Sweet Dreams Wellness Travel, and I'd love it if you would subscribe to that and leave me ratings. That is how I get noticed. That is how I get found. And so I just would really, really love it if you like the podcast. If you wouldn't mind leaving me a review and a rating and subscribing. If this has been a fun one for you to listen to, then help get the word out to others. My YouTube channel is called Barbara Tuckett, so you can subscribe to that, and that is where these YouTube videos live. You also are, I would love it if you would visit my website. There you will get lots of travel ideas. You can send me an email and contact me directly if you would like to. But the best place to do that is from my website, sweetdreamstravel.net. Most importantly, I would really love to help you plan your next adventure, wherever that might be, and whenever you are ready. I thank you so much for being with me today and for joining me on this adventure that we have done. I really appreciate it, and this has been a great time to get to talk to you. And I will see you next time.